following announcement has been paid for by the WZWA network.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live here on Twitch, baby. It's the Four Horsemen. We're here tonight to talk about a little bit of AEW, but you know what? I am relinquishing my hosting duties that I was a part of for our WrestleMania reviews with the one and only Bay Ragney, not Ray Bagney, DJ. Bay Ragney. And look, the suspension is over, Luke. I'm throwing this over to our usual host. He's on thin ice, but we'll see how it goes tonight. My name, mate, Luke Monet, please take it away.
Thank you so much. I know I've been on thin ice, but fortunately I've changed up the diet. I don't have to. There's no worried about any shattered ice tonight. I'm going to be on my best behavior. The main person you need to be worried about is Juicy Boy Billy Cheddarcock, to be honest with you.
Why? Why is that?
He's just, he's reckless to begin with, untrustworthy to say the least, and to be honest with you, he's a loose cannon. He's a loose cannon.
Hang on. He smells like wet corn as well.
Wet
corn.
Okay, well, with that, as California said, my name is Luke Monet. I am the Lord of the Ring. Below me, we've got the man that is on thin ice at the moment, Billy Cheddarcock. Juicy Boy, say hello.
Hey guys.
Yep, very nice. To the bottom left-hand corner, Mr. Jack Savage. Yeah, bro. I've still got you down as Mr. 55 on the frame, but we call you.
No, that works fine.
Yeah, well,
Can I please get introduced as well?
Absolutely.
I know I introduced myself, but I feel left out.
And to my left, the host with the most, California.
Not tonight. I'm not the host with the most tonight.
No.
Just California. Yeah.
He's the dude that does some hosting on the East Coast, so that's very nice. Tonight we are discussing AEW Blood and Guts.
Oh, this is news to me. I didn't get the memo.
Oh, so you have no clue why we're here whatsoever.
Well, I reviewed NXT, man.
I thought we were meant to be watching.
I
thought we were meant to be watching Starrcade '88.
I thought we were reviewing the latest edition of WWE Bottom Line.
I thought we were doing Afterburn.
Well,
Come on, guys. We got to get a...
Instant Classics wants to know which one of us is blading. And I guess we can get to that later on in the night. But...
If someone has a razor, we should seriously on one of these shows just fucking juice ourselves.
You can do it. You can do it.
I will 100% do it.
Yeah, Dibs.
I'll do it.
He'll fucking gig himself, yeah?
I'll
gig myself.
All right.
He'll fucking give himself a little bit of a cut.
What
you know
we'll do
what I
is
mean?
we'll put it as an alert reward. You say,
every time
neck coins like 100,000.
Every time, just fucking.
That's ridiculous.
That's disgusting.
Well, look, let's not waste too much time. Let's get straight into it. Let's get a brief over. Thank you so much for the thank you so much, California in Theory. Much appreciated.
I just thought that you were doing such a good job opening the show here, Luke, that I wanted to cheer you a bit.
Thanks so much. Hannah hasn't watched.
Just pointed the wrong way, trying to point at Carl, and I forgot that my screen was mirrored on the Twitch.
Well, Hannah, why don't you watch it as if it's a watch along with us in the background?
We're talking very quickly, like we're going through each match every time. Okay, let's get into the nitty gritty before Hannah goes. And overall, without saying anything as to the results so far, what do you guys think about Blood and Guts? Let's start with California.
Oh God, I'm happy to go first. Look, it was my first time I've ever seen a full episode of Dynamite, and there were some parts of the show that I liked, and there were some parts of the show I didn't like, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We're gonna go with Jack, Mr. 55.
As usual with the Horsemen, I always stay reserved in this segment of the show. I don't like to reveal my thoughts too much, but I think they're making a couple of moves.
A couple of moves. Very nice.
Yep.
And Billy Cheddarcock, Juicy Boy.
You want to get my overall on this show?
Just
I'll
a brief
tell
one.
you.
Just, oh God, here we go.
Let's get
It's
pumped.
it's in a nutshell, bro.
In a nutshell, it didn't completely suck 100% of the time.
Oh, wow. Very nice. That's quite nice of you.
That's the most we can hope from AEW, I think.
Look, it was obviously it's not a pay-per-view. This is it's a special edition Dynamite. It wasn't great for me for the majority part. There was a good match though, but we'll get into that, I'm sure, very soon. So let's start with the opening contest, and I want to get Juicy Boy's opinion first. We open with Kenny Omega and now Brandon MT Nakazawa, formerly known as Michael Nakazawa, versus Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston. What do you reckon about that? What is your opinion as to that matchup to open the show?
All right, well, first of all, it was a stupid idea to open this show with this match. It was really, because if you're going to use two of your top guys, like one of them being your champion and Kenny Omega, and then Mox and Eddie Kingston going to be on the other side, it just was really weird to see them used in that way in what was basically a throwaway match. Okay. Don Callis comes out, says Kenny Omega wasn't able to make the match, so it's just going to be you two versus Nakazawa. All right, so Kenny Omega came out and attacked him with the belts and stuff like that, smacked him several times. At that point, I was kind of thinking, all right, it's a bit pointless to just only mention that he's not going to be in the match just like 2 seconds before the match and then have him come out like a surprise. Like, why wouldn't his opponents, Mox and Kingston, have been aware that he was in the building or not? So that was pretty silly. And then, second of all, like getting to the ending of it, Kenny walks out, so all this shit about him being in the match, him doing this thing and attacking him from behind, only to just then walk out. It was just stupid. Then they were, so then they've tried to open this matchup hot as if it's like a, some hot opening tag match with, three of their top guys. But then they've got Nakazawa in there, and it was almost like I couldn't really tell if it was meant to be like a match that we were supposed to take seriously, which was meant to kind of give a bit of a rub to Moxley and Kingston at the expense of Nakazawa, or whether it was just fucking stupid. Whether it was just some stupid throwaway piece of filler that they did. That's kind of how I felt about it. The actual wrestling within it was not bad. I thought, there wasn't anything that really offended me. I actually, as we'll get to later, I actually kind of like Michael Nakazawa in this role as like the sidekick stooge. But I just felt like in the context of a tag match, he was out of place. And, I just felt like they couldn't really figure out exactly what they were trying to do with this tag match. It was all a bit all over the place for me.
No, that's fair enough. I'll quickly chime in for my bit while you're saying that, because I do agree very much so that this is a really weird opening contest to go with if it's not going to be invested in. I've just never, and I'll get to it later as well, I cannot watch an AEW tag team match because the fundamentals of tag team wrestling don't get followed. And there's too much going on where it's not making enough sense, and there's no reason why they could just break every single other rule that there is, because there's not enough protection of those rules. I thought it was a waste of time, to be honest with you. I mean, as you said, the wrestling, nothing was bad per se, part of the wrestling point, but the match itself, for me personally, set the tone for the rest of the card. I just don't think that they really cared too much about the card underneath the main event. I'll get to that also later. Let's go to Jack Savage.
Reiterating the point that this was just all over the fucking shop, like the DJ was making, I just want to run with that. because this well and truly was all over the fucking shop. And I just want to chime in as well. I fucking hate Justin Roberts. I just fucking can't stand him. I did not miss him from WWE. In my notes here, I wrote Omega gets pulled out of the match so far. Thank fuck. Like, then later getting realized, like, oh shit, here he comes. It was still a really strange, like, walkout. And it was also weird. Like, DJ made a point when we were watching it earlier. Like, Moxley and Kingston have already seen Kenny backstage, surely, like, during the day. Like, surely they know he's there. It just seemed really out of left field and kind of just made no sense. Then again, I also haven't been watching Dynamite or AEW. I haven't been keeping up, so I don't know what the story is going on here. So I also don't know what Nakazawa's role here was. That's also really fucking weird.
Okay, so yeah, there was a few adjustments since probably your last watch because of the heel turn, and I haven't watched it in depth either. I'm pretty sure it's like on BTE and all that other stuff. They kind of all link it together. Nakazawa's become like almost like a personal assistant to Don Callis and all that kind of that group because of his friendship with Kenny Omega. You've got what's his name, Brandon Cutler now, that is the personal videographer for the Elite. So it's just all these people that were faces and kind of were aligned with them when they were faces have now switched characters into heel roles. So
just want to add on to this as well. The pile driver popped me. That was the only part of the match that really popped me. Again, the tag rules are fucking stupid in AEW. I just hate them. I don't like watching tag matches, as you said, Monet. However, there was one thing that really pissed me off about this match. Not only was it the finish, the segment afterwards, the fucking beatdown after, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Matt Jackson looks like a fucking dipshit. How can you go on national television wearing a fucking Hawaiian shirt, Hawaiian shorts, and looking like that? You're a fucking idiot, man. Like, you just, man. Like, just fucking present yourself. I know you're a heel. I get it. But you look fucking ridiculous. Like,
that was the other thing. Just before we go to Carl, that was the only thing that I missed out when I was just saying before. What the fuck was the point of doing that to of having Moxley and fucking Kingston win that match like that and doing this match at all if they were just going to beat the shit out of him afterwards like that and make him look shit?
Yeah.
What was the point? All right, that's it.
I don't know about anyone else, but DJ, I think your microwave is leaking.
Yeah, I think his microwave is leaking.
Yeah. So we'll see how this pans out.
We might have to introduce Hydra to the video call to replace DJ for a little bit. California, your thoughts on the opening contest?
Well, I like to comment on other things that happened before we go to the first matches when we do this. I liked this is the first time I've seen a Dynamite episode. I like the opening and the fireworks. Very nice. But, when I saw the font come up for Blood and Guts, I was like, could they maybe use a different font than something that they got from dafont.com? That's what I thought when I saw it. I thought to myself, okay, Don Callis is pure because he cut off Justin Roberts. I like that. But I didn't really want to get on too much of a rant, but I don't understand what this storyline is. I don't understand why, and I really don't want to get long-winded with it, but I don't get why Kenny got with Don and then ran out the building after winning the belt and then hightailed it out of there. Next week, they arrive in a helicopter. Then they're on Impact. And then Tony Khan's doing these paid advertisements on Impact Wrestling, talking shit about Impact Wrestling. But the company itself didn't do anything wrong. Kenny did something wrong because he joined forces with the guy who's in charge of Impact Wrestling. So why is it that company's fault? What is going on? Maybe Luke, I don't know the context or the pretense to any of this. Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm not aware, but I thought this was going to end in or at least begin to be some sort of Impact versus AEW thing. And it just feels like, I don't know, is Tony angry at Kenny? Is he angry at the Bucks? They're supposed to be VPs in AEW, yet they're hanging out with the guy that's in charge of Impact. To me, it just doesn't seem like it makes any sense. Yeah. And I haven't even got to the match yet, but that was the first thing I'm thinking is I don't know what is going on. It's like they thought, oh, this will be a cool thing to do. Let's do it without any thought process behind it of where we're going to go with it because it has been months now.
Yeah.
Are you going to chime in at all there, Luke?
Yeah,
did you have anything to say?
There's a few missing links there that kind of do tie up a few loose ends. So you've got Don Callis and Kenny Omega have known each other since Japan and all
Yes,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff like that. Don Callis is a VP in Impact. So he's always been in there. He's been on commentary and stuff like that. And therefore, they kind of arranged like a managerial role for Don Callis in his world title match. It was like a support thing because they've known each other for like 15, 20 years.
Okay.
The agreement between Omega and Moxley was it'd be gentlemen's, no bullshit, just a straight up wrestling contest to find out who the winner is. And the match ended with Don giving Kenny a mic, going against that weapon, runs off and says, "You'll catch me on Impact," and then does that.
See, when that happened, sorry to chime in, but when that happened, I thought, oh, Kenny's going to Impact.
Yeah.
Now Tony's going to have to send people over there to try and get the belt back,
Yeah.
and he's going to be trying to call Kenny on the phone. What are you doing? You know, that's our belt.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to become this really awesome thing. And I was like, okay, I'll give this a chance. But then like within a couple of weeks after reading stuff online, I was like, okay, that's not going to go the way that I hoped.
Look, I don't know if they've got a long-term plan for some sort of Impact versus AEW thing in the future. I mean, it's only just happened that Rich Swann dropped the Impact title to Kenny. So it's like a week or two in. So we'll see. We'll see if anything comes of it. I don't think anything's going to happen.
I just have a feeling they don't have a game plan. They're just doing this. We'll do this next because it seems like a cool thing to do. We'll put the belt on Kenny. We'll make Impact look like shit. Jericho makes his comments this week that I got mad at, saying, why would I appear on Impact? We're AEW, a way bigger company. They had Private Party and Kenny Omega show up on the show. That's all that. Well, how about this? How about Impact fucking start invading AEW? How about they start jumping the guardrail and fucking with their show? Yeah. You know, then build Impact up to a point where, okay, now Jericho going over and interfering with their shit on Impact, maybe that'll make sense. Build up Impact and then have Impact be like, we want to be number 2 again.
Well,
I would like that story.
Well, when we do the review of Double or Nothing, and it happens, I'm assuming it's going to happen soon because they've got you got Yuri Nagata coming in next week. You've also got like Impact's tag titles are held by FinJuice, who are New Japan guys. It's all just a muddled thing at the moment, so it's probably going to happen at like Double or Nothing or something, where something starts.
But the thing is, though, like, why would Impact go against like? Don is in charge of Impact. He's the boss.
Yeah. It's just
so like
that's the thing.
It's hard to go there because why would Impact go to fuck with AEW when Don is the manager of the champion? And it's just so jumbled. Like the Good Brothers are in Impact, but they're allowed to just go down to the ring in AEW. Like surely security shouldn't be letting them in the building. They're not contracted superstar.
If I can just get in there as well, I think what you said about this storyline with Omega and Callis and Impact feeling like it has no direction or no game plan, that's how I feel kind of about the whole company of AEW sometimes, that they just keep going week after week and they announce matches, but they probably don't actually know why they're doing those matches yet, you know, until they get there.
Yeah.
And I think this is exactly the same kind of thing. It's like Sammy Guevara got in trouble allegedly for like refusing to work at Impact. Like he was asked to go down there and do something with them, but he refused because he thought Impact was shit or something like that. I heard something about that, him refusing to go down there. The whole thing's just a mess. It feels like it's just this thing that Kenny Omega and Don Callis have like cooked up with Tony Khan, and no one else in either company is in on the joke except for them three. Like it's just this weird hodgepodge thing that they're doing, and God only knows where it's going.
Yeah. I just feel like it's not going anywhere, and it's just they're not leaving breadcrumbs along the way for us to be like, oh yeah, this is why this happened, and this is where it's leading to. Anyway. Look, I want to get away from that, but I just wanted to point that out because I still don't understand what the fuck it is they're doing. When Moxley makes his entrance, I think to myself, man, he does carry himself very well when he makes his entrance, but then I thought to myself, man, Eddie Kingston needs to think of a different outfit to wear because that muffin top, if you're going to be on TV, you got to be in better shape than that. I don't like seeing that. That's just me. My next thought was, why is Nakazawa dressed like a gay phys ed teacher? Moxley took his shirt off. Keep your shirt on, bro, or work out a bit more. Sorry, but it made you look like a civilian, not a wrestler. I like that they post the results of their stupid little AEW Dark on the bottom of the screen. I don't know why. I just like that. It shows that they think that it matters. At least, it'll be, if WWE did that with main event, then maybe people might want to say, "Oh, well, that match happened on main event. Maybe I'll watch main event next week."
Yeah.
Another thing that annoyed me during the match was Nakazawa choking people with his lanyard and the referee not doing anything about it. And then the commentators trying to come up with an excuse as to why. And they said, well, he's not stopping him because I think the referee's intimidated by Kenny Omega. Why would he be intimidated by Kenny Omega? Oh, because he's become such a big star now that that referee should be fired then if he's unable to keep his job and do it properly.
Yeah.
Because he's intimidated by someone who won a bunch of championships, then what the fuck is wrong with that referee? I thought the finish looked dangerous, but maybe it's just their thing. And look, I want to say it annoyed me, and I'll get into it later on, but it annoyed me that, Kenny just leaves this guy high and dry. And then later on, Kenny's doing his promo, and Nakazawa's out there with a smile on his face like nothing ever happened. Like he just got fucking dropped on his head because Kenny pussied out. Maybe that's his gimmick. He's just a pussy, and he'll just let Kenny run over him until they do the eventual, he's going to finally fight back bullshit. Okay, then after the match, out come the Young Bucks, and as soon as I saw him, I'm like, fuck you. Fuck you! You look like fucking horrible idiots, man. Like you look like a joke. It's not you're not getting heel heat from me, okay? It's not that. It's not. Oh man, they're working you, bro. No, they look like fucking idiots. If you're gonna portray yourselves in this cool badass group, then look cool and badass. Don't look like two fucking knobheads. Gallows used too much baby oil on his arms. What's going on there? I think the Magic Killer, is that what the name of the move?
Yeah.
I think it's a shit.
That looked bad.
I think every time I've seen him hit it, it always looks just lazy.
I prefer the Boogadoo myself. You guys see what the Boogadoo is?
I don't. Where's security? Why is Moxley and Kingston getting fucking destroyed and there's no fucking security? What's going on?
The refs and the agent.
Send some referees
care about his other investments, and just
Tony's backstage. Surely he'd be freaking out that someone that he's paying quite a lot of money, John Moxley, is getting the shit kicked out of him again. Like,
but they're intimidated.
Is he against? Oh, he's intimidated.
And by the way, if you're gonna come out there and beat the shit out of some tag team that's two top guys in the company like Moxley and Kingston, and you want to make it look like it's a serious beatdown and have the commentators, put all this heat on you. Fucking wear less stupid outfits, for fuck's sake.
And not only that, but like the way he was paintbrushing him with his sneaker, I was like, what are you doing, dude? Do you even know did you even plan what you were going to do when you went out there? The beatdown was like, and I've said the word gay already, but they're like the gay NWO. Like he's giving him a super kick with no shoes on. And it's just like, come on, man. Like, it looks stupid. It doesn't look like a beatdown of all beatdowns like the NWO where they're getting hit with power bombs and there's pandemonium going on with the crowd throwing garbage in the ring. There's leg drops and outsiders edges and they're all getting fucking killed in the ring. It looked fucking piss weak as far as I'm concerned. And that's all I really wanted to say about the whole thing. I hated the beginning of the show.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. We'll quickly ask the chat. I believe Instant Classics, he's been chatting a bit. Instant Classics, what did you think about the match itself? I've noticed here that he's pretty keen to see, by the looks of it, Yuji Nagata come over, which will be sick. But overall, he missed out in the first match, so there's our chat for that one. Probably for the best, Instant Classic. It was a bit of a waste of time. They announced.
By the way, can I just say one more thing? This is the real elite, bitch. The NWO elite in early '99. Everyone thinks it sucks when the Wolfpack and the Black and White got back together. This is the logo. They look way more fucking dominant than you little bitches. No offense to Gallows and Anderson, I still like.
Like they're not going to listen to this at all.
No, they will.
Oh yeah, okay. They announced Sheeta versus Baker at Double or Nothing. They finally giving Britt Baker the women's title match. Are you guys keen to see Britt Baker win the title?
She's going to win
Yeah.
it. So
Yeah, I'd like to. I think she deserves it.
Yeah, I reckon.
Shame Adam Cole can't fuck her very well.
I mean, look.
What? What was that? I didn't hear that.
I said it's a shame Adam Cole doesn't fuck her very well.
It's who she's dating. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did you not know that?
I didn't know she was into little people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
man.
I reckon.
Yeah, she doesn't really see
maybe-
him as a midget. She just sees him as a man.
Man, Hornswoggle's got a chance with her.
I mean, obviously, I wasn't
Masqueraded Dorada. I'm sorry, Luke.
I wasn't a big fan of the Lights
Shut
Out
up,
match.
BJ.
I wasn't a big fan of the Lights Out match, but it's hard to argue that she hasn't carried the women's division in AEW. So we'll see how
Oh,
that
man.
goes.
Yeah,
Well,
good,
she's-
good on her. She should win the belt.
She's the only one with a lick of charisma in the whole fucking division. That's why.
Lick.
Because she's actually
Has she,
got a.
has she won the belt yet?
Not yet.
Plus,
Okay,
didn't
well,
also
she'll be winning it.
didn't Hikaru Shida beat her at last year's Double or Nothing for the belt?
I think so. Well, as in like.
Quickly,
Sorry,
quickly,
Cara
Google,
Cheetahs.
quickly, Google, quickly.
I'm pretty sure.
Was it
Double
last
or
year?
Nothing
Was
2020.
it last year?
Enter.
My birthday.
Pretty sure she's on a year-long reign. About to be.
Jeez, That'd be nice. If they did that, that'd be nice. I wouldn't mind.
She has had a long reign from what I
No,
recall.
she
from
beat Nyla
whatever
Rose.
fucking-
Good.
Nyla Rose.
That's all I have to
That's
say.
strange. It's for the women's championship. That's strange.
Okay. Moving forward, we've got QT
I
Marshall.
have to go down that road.
We've got
Sorry.
QT Marshall with the Factory versus
Ugh.
your good friend and mine,
The
Cody
Factory.
Rhodes, with Arn Anderson. So it's the
Oh.
Factory versus the
Oh.
Nightmare Factory.
Oh god, I can't wait to get into this one,
I
boys.
have so much.
Instant classic. You've seen everyone frothing at the mouth. Who would you like to see start this conversation first? Dun 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 dun. Ah, juicy boy.
Oh, pussy boy.
Okay, pussy boy.
All right, guys. Well, I mean, QT Marshall is an absolute vacuum of charisma. And I mean that. I'm looking at him and I'm looking at a sample created superstar on a WWE PlayStation game. Only with none of that charisma involved. Not even a tattoo, not an interesting entrance jacket, not a pair of sunglasses, nothing. He just looks boring. I don't understand why he's in this situation of being on like a nationally prominent program. And then, okay, so everything in the match that he did with Cody was technically okay. Wait. Right at the beginning, QT Marshall gets told by the ref that he's not allowed to use his white belt, and it gets taken off of him. Only for fucking Cody to do exactly the same thing, and for the referee...
Other way around.
Oh, it was the other way around?
Yeah.
Only for QT to do exactly the same thing with his white belt, and the referee to fucking do nothing about it, and not even acknowledge it. So already there, I was like, fuck this. The whole fucking... You know, the match made sense for the most part, but it was just impossible for me to give a shit. First of all, I could hardly tell who the heel and who the face was meant to be, because I definitely didn't find myself getting behind QT Marshall at all. You know, I actually made the comment that I felt like if you took all the most boring qualities of Triple H and Robert Roode and like boring generic, you know, you took all the worst qualities of them. QT Marshall has all of them, but none of the charisma, none of the timing, none of the electricity. It doesn't do it for me. And the whole thing on Cody's part felt like it was just a wank fest for Cody and like, oh, you know, I'm still Cody and I'm so great. And I could not exactly, bro. And then let's talk about it. The whole fucking powerbomb into the turnbuckles looked fucking dangerous and it looked pretty crap. And then the tombstone reversal spot. Why the fuck are you two doing tombstone reversals? Why is even one of you doing a fucking tombstone?
For a 2 count, by the way.
Yeah.
For a 2 count,
Yep.
and it looked like a backyarder delivering a
How
tombstone,
insulting.
and it looked stupid because he's delivering it to a guy who's taller than him.
Yeah.
And it just looked dumb as shit.
Yeah.
And overall, dumb as shit would be the perfect 3 words to describe this whole match. You could have put Cody in there against a wall that had paint drying on it, and the best thing that could have come out of that was at least his blood might have been splattered over that fucking wall, and it would have been still more interesting than what QT Marshall did. The match was crap. That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would like to go with California next.
Okay. They had a little hype thing for it, talking about Cody's former friend, and I found that I don't know why I laughed because I'm like, I'm sure there's lots of people who are keen to be Cody's former friend. So I guess the download that I got of this was the Fight TV
Yeah.
or something version
I know what you're
because
about to say.
I had no idea what was going on. I didn't realize that they had gone to a commercial break. So I was like, why am I staring at this screen for so long? Like I was like, Jesus, nearly a fucking whole minute. Okay, over a minute. Closing on 2 minutes. It went nearly 3 minutes. Then like later on I clued in. I was like, it's because it's on like some streaming service. It's not the actual TV version. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that out there because I was very confused.
That's a good sidebar.
Yeah.
QT Marshall makes his entrance, being accompanied by the Factory.
Factory.
So were they all initially in the Nightmare family?
Yeah. Yeah. They're all
Interesting.
They're all the part
Sounds
of it.
like a different storyline that's going on right now. They can't think of something else to do for this feud. And I think the Factory is a terrible name for a stable as well.
It's the Factory versus the Nightmare Factory, dude. Do you not?
Oh my god!
What's the difference?
Fuck up.
Okay, so when QT walks out, I'm like, he has no charisma. He's generic. My friend Bonner, Diffuser, would call him Default, which would be the default wrestler you start with when you are creating a wrestler in a video game. Cody makes his entrance. I know what was going on. Obviously, they had something set up for a spot later on in the show, but to make your entrance running down those little steps, running down the steps to get into the ring to start fighting QT. I don't like those steps. Like it looked dumb when people made their entrance that way. I noticed when Cody did his like drop down and punch thing, he missed him. And of course, the referee lets Nakazawa choke with a lanyard, but the next match, no belt whipping allowed. As soon as Cody grabbed the belt to whip him, no belt allowed, but the lanyard was okay to choke someone out with. That's cool, because he was intimidated by Kenny Omega. I saw the back of Arn Anderson at one stage, and I'm like, what kind of person would walk around wearing Nightmare Family merch?
Yeah.
Good God, I bet that doesn't sell well. And if it does, then it's been worn by a virgin.
It's great. It's popular among virgins and fedora wearers.
And neckbeards.
Arn hits QT, which I kind of laughed at. The referee stopped that, and seeing Arn try to get back up the stairs, I was like, "Fuck, man! Like, cut some weight, Arn, or something." So the referee stopped that, but not Moxley and Kingston getting fucking bashed by like 6 people.
He called
so
the referees.
like old Arn Anderson, we got to get him out of there, but we'll let Moxley and Kingston get murdered by like 5 guys.
They're intimidated,
ridiculous. Bro. I thought to myself, this is borderline boring. It still hasn't kicked into second gear. QT pulled his own pants down after that sunset flip. Followed by a tumble salt from Cody, not a moonsault. The tombstone spot again. Why are people kicking out of that? They're making it like the DDT, like I said when we covered Revolution. Too many people were hitting tombstones as regular moves. QT, okay. He does this. because he's the one that apparently has been given the diamond cutter.
Ugh.
He's been bestowed this honor of being the guy to take the diamond cutter because they think it's going to do a lot of heavy lifting for his shit personality.
No.
Cody wins, yippee! I don't care.
Yeah, don't
and-
give a fuck.
And at the end, I just wrote, "Who the fuck was that cunt that attacked Cody?" At the end, like, I don't care. You haven't given me any reason to care who that was. And that's it. That's all I have to say. I didn't get into it. It didn't kick into second gear for me. I wasn't gripped by it. And yeah, QT Marshall shouldn't be on television as far as I'm concerned. He can do things, like he's capable. He's an athletic man. He can do things, but I just don't think there's any point investing television time into him because it's going to go nowhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and having someone run out as well and beat down Cody at the end killed what little heat it did have. Sorry, I just had to get that comment in there.
No, look, I'll let Jack go at the end. I just want to say my little piece. Cody didn't get an over the top entrance. Did anyone notice that? He got like the lights and he
What do
got
you fucking mean? He come through the gates of heaven and fucking pussy,
yeah,
bro.
but usually it has
Yeah.
the long overdrawn intro and then he does the
Bro,
stand with the
he-
camera behind
You know
him.
why?
No, he's still
No,
got the
you're wrong.
fucking gates of heaven and pussy, and everyone else gets relegated to the fucking tubes of shit.
Didn't
Yeah,
happen.
that's true.
Bullshit,
He
man.
did get special attention in the entrance.
No, it wasn't. It was nowhere near as bad as it has been. Not by a long shot. Nah, there was a lot more entrances that got a lot more than Cody, which I was happy about. I don't know
Well,
what
it
you were
was
about to say,
Wednesday night.
Carl. I don't know what you were about to say there, but you look a little bit.
Well, you know why that the pearly gates of heaven and all that pomp and circumstance didn't take place because Cody's in a bad mood and he wants to fight someone. I don't need any of that stuff.
No, you're absolutely right, bro. You're absolutely right. And he got his big moment when he did all these moves on top of his truck for some reason. His trailer, whatever you want to call it. It was just stupid. Look, I didn't like the match. The match sucked.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not by nature of the fact that some of the moves were shit, i.e. the tombstone, and we've already talked about that. QT Marshall's a good wrestler. He is. He's a really good wrestler. He is not designed for TV whatsoever. His facial expression is the same the entire time. He just looks blank as he's looking around and like surveying the crowd, and he's just kind of like looking, and he's got his like mouth slightly open. He's just like,
He should be a trainer.
yeah. No, that's the thing. He is a trainer. That's the thing.
That's what he should be doing.
He is the Nightmare Factory's top trainer out of everything. Main trainer, and that's probably why they've tried giving him something on TV, basically, because of the fact he's the trainer, he's doing all this work. Let's try to give him a run because he's been on the indies for 15, 20, or whatever years. Couldn't cut it in NXT, couldn't cut it anywhere. So they're giving him an opportunity now, and it's just not working. He doesn't have the character.
He's not
for TV.
cutting it. Yeah, he's not cutting it here.
No.
He's got no flamboyance, nothing to him.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they're going to do this, the character where he's running the factory and it's their separate heel thing, he cannot be the centerpiece of it. You've got Anthony Ogogo, which can be like the big trainee from that camp that should be the number one spot. He should be like the methodical manager by ringside, talking strategy and all that kind of stuff because he's a good wrestler. Should be nowhere near the center of the screen in this entire situation. And I think that's...
By the way,
yeah.
If Anthony Ogogo just needs one punch to Cody's stomach to fucking kill Cody, why the fuck would he ever work matches?
Well, that's a boxing strike. It's a liver shot. It's like the same deal as in boxing. If you get him in the liver, if you place it in the liver, they drop. That's the idea that they're going for there. They're assuming that if you try to throw a strike at the liver when you're starting the matchup, that their opponents would be aware of the fact that it might be coming. I think that's what they're going for. I don't know. The match I just didn't care about. The stables I don't care about. I don't want any of them on my screen. And it was just as Instant Classic says, that's a closed fist, which is an illegal strike in pro wrestling. So
Fucking hell.
look, just bad and not worth any more of my time. But California clearly likes to say one more thing.
I just before we get to Jack's thoughts, I just wanted to quickly say, did you guys ever read that news report a little while ago that apparently Cody Rhodes had been studying the Larry Zbyszko Bruno Sammartino feud because he's looking to down the line write some sort of story between Lee Johnson and QT Marshall.
Ugh.
He wants to compare Larry Zbyszko and Bruno to those two. I just found that that's what Dave Meltzer said. So
That's insulting. That's
Yeah.
insulting if that's.
I just
got
thought
any
I'd
truth
throw
to
that
it.
out there just to let everyone know just how clueless I think Cody really is. But
Jack, I'm so keen for your thought.
let's hear
I'm
what
so
Jack's
keen.
going to
Let's see what you're
say.
gonna say, bro.
Yeah, nice little piece there, Mono. I fucking hated it, start to finish.
Mm.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet because you guys pretty much said everything and spoiled any notes that I had. I just wanted to put in there Excalibur is fucking revolting. JR had an amazing call after the sunset flip. He may need to go to the hospital. His ass is cracked. call,
yeah, that was good.
I do want to know if Cody realizes how average and sloppy he actually is in the ring.
Yeah,
He's gotten worse over the years, I find.
he is
since
starting.
AEW.
Yeah, getting lazy.
The match was fucking very, very average. I hated it. The ending was, but there was another. In the words of Jim Cornette, there was another afterbirth. 2 matches in a row.
Mm.
Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah.
And last but not least, is Cody going to get a shirt for bleeding?
Yeah.
Is he going to get a shirt for bleeding?
No, but let's talk about this, right? Did anyone see how it happened?
I
Was
did
it
not-
when he hit the? Was it when he hit the roads, whatever crossroads
Nope.
or whatever?
Nope.
I couldn't tell when
I
he
can
did it.
only pinpoint it to 2 possible instances, and they both revolve around the figure 4 leg lock. All right, so he's managed to bust himself open by doing a figure 4 leg lock. Now, the point of impact is either A, when QT Marshall flips him off, he's made contact with his eye with the finger, or B, when they're going down, it looks like his foot also catches him in the eye. There is no blood before when he picks up the leg. He picks up his leg. No, sorry. Gets him, flips off, trips him over. All of a sudden, there's blood coming down from his eye. So it's either his foot
Right.
that's connected or his finger. I don't know how it's happened, but Cody Rhodes has busted himself open on a figure 4 leg lock that he's applying.
Beautiful.
Yeah, was good to see the Fig 4 actually fucking, finish a match, but then they didn't really do much work on the legs throughout it, so fuck it.
Yeah, of course. Of course he didn't.
I guess if you're finished with that one, we can.
I'm done with that.
Yeah. So we cut to our good friend, Alex Marvez,
Ugh.
the network's good, unattractive friend, Alex Marvez, talking to Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
This is Alex Marvez.
Yeah, that's him right there. They're talking about how, they're the new guys, they're going to take over, blah, blah, blah. Sky's talking about Sting. Page is talking about Alan and their history. Alan dive bombs in head first, but ultimately gets thrown down a flight of stairs. Now, I want to quickly go first, and I'll pass it onwards. It's really pissing me off what's happening. I don't really care too much about Scorpio Sky. I know he's good. I'm not invested in him, but I'm invested in Ethan Page. I've always been a big fan of Ethan Page, and this is they're just not doing either of these guys justice, and it's frustrating as all hell because they think, oh, these 2 guys with chips on their shoulders should come together and have chips on their shoulder together, and it's not interesting whatsoever. Darby Allin dive bombing in was funny as fuck. I did enjoy that just because of the sheer he just springs in. So I was like, okay, sick. But then ultimately, how do you take this guy seriously? If it wasn't for Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy, he'd be the smallest guy on the roster. And he's the current TV champion. Now, obviously TNT, but they're TV champion. Obviously, he's going to get thrown down a flight of stairs by 2 guys. What was he expecting? And obviously, I get that is his character and stuff like that, but that's not going to make me care about him more. That's just going to make me think he's an idiot and deserves what's coming to him at this point. I don't know. Waste of my time. I don't even want to go any further. So let's go to the guy that said it last. We'll give him an opportunity to speak this time. Jack, Mr. 55, you start this one off.
Someone in this promo called themselves the franchise, and I've got a note here saying, "Nah, Shane Douglas is the franchise."
That was Scorpio Sky that said that. Yeah.
Ugh. I also have a note here saying I now hate Ethan Page. What did Ethan Page do that would have pissed me off?
As in, like, previously?
Sorry, my memory is so fucking shot these days.
Are you talking previously? That's stuff that he's done in the past?
He did something.
He talked all that
promo,
shit
man.
about. He talked all that shit about the injuries and shit like that.
Karate Man?
Like about the metal plate and shit. Like
I can't even remember, man.
and it was just random.
But overall, like this entire segment, I just really felt like this segment would have been good if it wasn't timed with all the other attacks and shenanigans. And on top of that, it was just also just so fucking long. This segment went for as long as the previous match felt. Darby Allin sitting there for like 2 minutes was unnecessary. It was annoying. They could have used that time in the blood and guts match. They could have given fucking poor old Julia Hart a couple more minutes, but instead they had to fucking
Get to that.
just have Darby Allin sitting there for fucking 2 minutes, man. It just felt so stupid. Like, oh man, it was awkward, man. It was just the entire segment was just no, like yeah, the stair spot was fine. It was cool. Like, yeah, it was Darby Allin doing his thing. Like, but if he keeps doing this shit, he's not going to have much of a career for much longer. But hey, we maybe we need another Jeff Hardy. I don't know.
Yeah, he's
That's all from me though. But the biggest takeaway for me is why the fuck are you spending so much time with fucking Darby Allin sitting there on the steps of the fucking doctor?
Jack,
Fuck
can I
off.
ask you, and DJ, what did you download the show or stream it or?
No, it's
Oh,
yeah.
DJ, our copy had fucking no ads, so we were watching when they said in picture, we were actually
not-
getting just the match.
Did you not realize that's
We were-
what Carl was saying earlier? Because that was it's the Fight TV version. So when they go, we're going into picture in picture.
So is that why?
Yeah.
Because like when I get to talk, now I'm starting to realize, is that why that they just had the camera on Darby for
Yeah.
so fucking long? Because it was during the commercial break, and for Fight TV people, they still need to be airing something,
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
Why not cut to a fucking video package about something?
No,
Have
well,
a few
no,
things in the
because-
can,
No, the idea
like a hype video for the main event when MJF turned on Jericho. Let's watch some stuff that happened beforehand.
Yeah, obviously that would make sense, but AEW pride themselves on not missing a second of the action by doing their double feature stuff.
What action?
That's the
I was
thing.
gonna
Nothing
say
was
what action.
happening.
They yeah.
And I'll get to it when I get to it. Sorry.
I know there's a part in the main event that I know that Instant Classic is dying to talk about. So when we get to the main event, as soon as the main event time comes around, Instant Classic, mention your comment and we'll get into that one. Quickly, Carl, did you have any thoughts on the promo at all? The segment whatsoever?
Well, I didn't know what had happened with Darby and Sting since the stuff with Team Taz. I didn't know what was going on. Now, wasn't my idea of Lance Archer? Wasn't my idea of Jake and is it Lance or is it Vance?
Lance Archer now.
Okay. Wasn't my idea of Lance and Jake working with Darby and Sting a great next feud for Sting to be a part of?
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is nothing against Scorpio and Ethan, but this is a step down for a former fucking 10-time heavyweight champion, fucking Hall of Famer. This is the second program he's a part of, and it's against like two new guys on the roster. I just don't think that this was the right decision to make for Sting or for little boy Allen. I just think it's not the right way to go. And I don't know what Archer's doing right now. I don't know what Jake's doing right now, but that would be the best thing for them to go to after this Taz thing. Yes, Luke, I know what.
They're currently working a program with Sting and Darby Allin.
Well, why are they working with these two then?
It's all
Why
intertwined.
is this segment all about this shit?
There's a respect thing going on between Archer and Sting, and it's partly a feud, but partly like friends. I don't know.
So it is actually happening.
Yeah, but poorly, really badly, because once again, Lance Archer's going back and forth between a good guy and a bad guy, and it's all a mess.
Stop fucking around and just get to it. Like, we want to see that Jake Sting showdown in the ring and have them like use that to highlight the other two. That's what it should be.
No, absolutely. I agree.
But anyway, I just thought the promo was a little painful. Like Scorpio did all right. They did okay, but I thought it was painful whilst I was watching it. Scorpio called himself the franchise. Like you've been there like I don't know how long, but
I think he was making a reference
since the beginning.
I think he was referencing, like Sting because he's trying to engage that feud with Sting, so he's calling himself the franchise.
Whatever.
Yeah.
It's dumb. Darby is a little kid. And then when they start beating him up, I'm like, okay, fuck him up. Like, I want to see this. And then when he got thrown down the stairs, I just kept thinking to myself, suck shit, Darby, and go fuck yourself. Now I like Scorpio and Ethan for being so fucking cheesy and for throwing you down the stairs. But, man, after they'd thrown him down, that's when you cut away to something. Again, where is security? Okay, I know that we're watching the Fight TV version, but Ethan and Scorpio are just standing there, smiling and laughing and talking about it. Darby's just laying there. One medical personnel comes along to check on him, checks on him for fucking ever. Did anyone not think, hey, maybe we should like cut to something during the Fight TV part, when we're going to commercial break, so that the people watching aren't just watching this dumb shit taking place where Darby's just sitting there and the medical guy's feeling his legs and are you okay? How many times are you going to ask him if you're okay? Help the cunt up. But the other two are still standing at the top of the stairs just smiling and laughing. He's not dead. He's not knocked out. Go down there and fucking throw him down the next flight of stairs. Let's fucking see some real heat. Anyway, I just thought it was ridiculous.
Did you hear the
and bad
commentary?
TV.
Did you hear the commentary explanation for one person going up? It was because
he came from ringside.
He came
Like
from
they only
ringside.
have one medical person in the whole fucking building. Unbelievable. But yeah, when they have stuff like this and they have something like a streaming service streaming their show, then they need to like think of other shit they can cut to during that because this was just like horrible to watch. It was so fucking boring.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree. Juicy Boy, any thoughts?
Yeah, I thought that the Scorpio Sky portion of the promo that him and Paige did was good. The stuff that he actually said, this is a pretty decent promo on Sting. He's throwing some shade at him. Unfortunately, he's not on the level where he's ever going to be bought as a threat to Sting. And Ethan Page, his part of the promo, but I got to say, I credit to Scorpio Sky for actually cutting a good promo and having some fucking fire behind his voice and, doing a decent job with it. But Ethan Page's portion of the promo was absolutely fucking dreadful. You better call somebody. It was absolutely fucking dreadful. It went on forever. I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. He starts going, let's go and look back, Darby, to all this shit. What? To all these indie events where you fucked up, where Darby did all this stupid shit in front of 25 fucking people? Is that what you were calling in your promo and you don't even have any footage or anything to back that up with? Because I'm just lost now. That's what I thought. And it went on for fucking 2.5 minutes too long as well, Ethan Page's portion of it. It should have just been Scorpio Sky does his bit, and then right after Ethan Page says a couple of things, maybe then Darby comes in. Second of all, this is yet again another example of Darby being made to look like a fucking idiot just because he wanted to take some crazy bump, which is going to take some years off his career. Like, okay, you run out there and attack two guys like that. What do you think's going to happen? Of course they're going to eventually overwhelm you like that because you're much smaller than both of them, let alone two of them together. Of course they're going to overwhelm you. And then you end up at the fucking steps and cool. You've rolled down a flight of steps and it looked like it really hurt. Well, it still didn't make me think. It definitely didn't make me, get behind Darby Allin anymore. And it didn't really make Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page look like much of a threat because, how difficult is it to hurt someone if you're going to push them down a flight of steps after they put themselves in the position to get pushed down the flight of the steps? It didn't do anything for anybody. And the sooner that they get away from having Ethan Page anywhere near Sting, the better. And I'll be a lot happier for it because he's 62 years old and he should only be working with the absolute creme de la creme within that company. He shouldn't be going anywhere near anyone like Ethan Page, who's shit and who looked pathetic and whose clothing style was just terrible.
Let him know.
I think
DJ.
that's it.
All right.
I think that's it.
Well, it hurts me a little bit as an Ethan Page fan, but I respect a lot of those calls because some of those were very good points. Britt Baker,
Very astute points.
very astute. Britt Baker versus Julia Hart.
Shame she's not from Calgary, eh?
Yeah, well, I get the point. You know, going into a title match, whatever. Why though? Why is this happening? And obviously, we talked about it, Jack, when we were talking about if this was going to have a card underneath it at this event, if we thought it was just going to be the one match, and like, I'd rather just the one match at this point. Like, this is just wasting. I don't want to stick around and watch this.
Why? Why you
stop
ask?
watching.
Because it's TV. It's TV. One thing we need to all remember when we're reviewing this show is this isn't a pay-per-view. This is a TV wrestling show. And when I was doing my notes, I was thinking maybe I need to stop being so critical. It's TV wrestling. Of course, there's so many promos and stuff like that.
And it may be, but then don't brand it as a special event if the rest of it is not going to look to par. You've got 2 rings there. Why is nothing else being incorporated in it? Why are they being strictly to that one ring? I understand that it takes some of the shine off the other match, but guess what? The other matches here won't have a cage around them, so that won't really matter.
Every time
WCW,
every time they did it.
Like, so the first match would be in one ring, then they'd move the second match to the next ring, so that they have a spotlight over whichever ring they were using.
Yeah.
But sometimes they would brawl to the outside and wind up in the other ring. Like it was a natural thing that would naturally happen. You wouldn't just stay in the one ring.
Exactly. That's what you give a card like this, a special event vibe, is you let this stuff happen because it's not the same. But if you're going to treat all the rest of the matches, not only just like their standard matches, like there isn't a ring behind them, but also to have them, they're really short. These aren't big matches at all because obviously they've got to fit this into 2 hours. And the main event took up like 45. So
that took up the whole second hour.
Yeah. You've got the entrances
Pretty
and
much,
stuff
yeah.
like that. So I know you've got to fit in the rest of these matches into 1 hour, but God, you could do something better than this. Britt Baker versus Julia Hart.
I'll give her a break. She's 19.
No,
She's hot.
I'm not. I don't have an issue with Julia Hart whatsoever. I don't have a match with these two whatsoever. I don't have an issue with these
so
two.
young. She's
I don't
so
have.
fucking
Okay,
young.
calm down. I don't have an issue with these two or anything like that. It was a waste of time because it was so short. Got Britt over, whatever. Just.
19 years of age.
Carl, you talk about the young girl next.
Well, when Britt makes her entrance, she looks cool. The chick she's with, I don't know why she needs that.
Doesn't use it.
Yeah, like she was still walking normally, even though she had a crutch on her. So then they get in the ring, and then I see that her opponent is a 12-year-old girl. Look, she's 19, but she looks like she's 12. I thought maybe they should have shaved 5 minutes or maybe 7 minutes off somewhere else and give us Tay Conti versus Britt Baker. I would have much rather seen that match than a squash. It was just a squash. Britt played the heel pretty good. That's all I've really got to say, but I would have preferred to see Tay on the show.
You only want to see Tay for one reason, bro.
What about Anna, bro? What about Anna?
Yeah, I'm the same, man. I love Tay. I love me a bit of Tay Conti.
Don't we all?
Don't we all? Well, then I'm going to move on to Juicy Boy.
Yeah, look, I actually thought that, in terms of just having a quick little match to get Britt over looking strong, this didn't overstay its welcome for me. I just wish they had taken some of the time off of that previous segment and given it to a little entrance for Julia Hart and, given her a little bit more of a moment because she didn't have any credibility during the match. At least if you gave her a bit of an entrance, it would have enhanced her image a little bit from just total jobber status. But yeah, this was inoffensive. I was glad it was over quick. And so that no complaints here, really.
Okay.
Man, I'm a fan of Julia Hart, eh?
Yeah.
I'm a Julia Hart, Mark.
Their footwork was fine. Everything they did for the brief time they're wrestling looked fine. They didn't botch anything. You know, that's an A as far as I'm concerned for AEW.
Oh man, I bet she's from the dungeon, bro.
Well, actually, with that being said, I did like the glove. The glove with the lockjaw. I think that's a really good touch for the move. So I just want to point that one out as well. Mr. 55, anything you wanted to say about this match?
Nah, I already gave my thoughts throughout the whole fucking spiel.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the four-way eliminate. Oh,
No.
four-way tag. That was elimination. But maybe if they didn't fucking.
Hey,
now
hey.
we've kind of spoken about the.
Hey, guess what? We're not moving on to that yet because I want to ask
not?
you guys what, if anyone did watch it, what the hell Taz's thing was.
Technique by Taz. That's what it was
Technique
called.
by Taz.
I thought
that was
I thought it was
insane.
good.
I thought that was fucking sick just because of how randomly placed it was and how randomly done it was with Taz talking behind it.
No,
and
Taz
also
is sick, man.
it actually feels like sports. It feels
Yeah.
like Taz is actually talking about it like it's a sport.
And someone that
So
sounds
sick.
like Taz sounds like someone you would listen to break down something like
Yeah.
this. And
He
obvious-
sounds like that old veteran boxer that's,
Yeah.
they go to him at ringside and get some,
Taz
thoughts
is like the
off him.
fucking. Taz is like the Mick Gatto of professional wrestling.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Does anyone else have anything to say about that one?
Nah.
Nope. Okay, let's move on to this four-way tag. I'll start myself so that I don't have to talk because I'm not actually going to talk for this one. I hate the tag team matches in AEW. This did it no favors. I do want to point out though that Max Caster of the Acclaimed does the rapper gimmick way. This is my personal opinion. This may be a hot take, but way better than Cena did. Just as an overall, okay, well, as an overall rapper performance, Max Caster is better than John Cena. I may have jumped the gun
No.
by accident by saying that as a better gimmick wrestler, not enough time's passed on that one. But as an overall, with the better lines and stuff like that, I thought that Max Caster outdid Cena on that one. Probably sounded like Meltzer on that one, but that was just my opinion, and that's something I took away from it. I thought it was really good for that
Well, you're-
character.
Okay.
But I'll let you speak next,
Mhm.
California, because you clearly want to tear my head off for that one.
Your opinion is wrong. Okay. It was a good rap. I liked it, but Cena's better. That's my opinion.
That's fair.
I hate matches like this, man. And look, again, I said this last time. I don't want to watch an AEW show just looking for negative stuff to talk about. And almost everything I've said so far is negative, and I hate that. I want to like it.
Yeah.
I do, but I can't. Jurassic Express, I hate them. Get off my screen. Why are Butcher and the Blade not in the match? I was bored, like just straight out. I hate contendership matches with no heat. I hated the Acclaim's tag team work together with some of their double team moves. The Luchasaurus chokeslam to the outside sucked. It's just a spot for the sake of a spot. I liked the bit where Frankie tagged himself in on Jungle Boy, who was on the top rope. That was a cool idea. And watching Jungle Boy get fucking clocked by Kazarian with that clothesline was sick. But again, I still think they need a weight division for these small dudes because I just can't buy into these Darby Allins and Jungle Boys and Marco Stunts. Knew that Daniels and Kazarian were going to win because of the stipulation that I heard about at Revolution that apparently no one else in this group knew about until what was it, yesterday?
First.
And yeah, you knew they were going to win. The finish was weird. Another tombstone, but at least there was a pin. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, fair enough. No, Juicy Boy, no. Mr. 55.
Thank you. I was won over by the Acclaimed after this match, especially Max Caster. I hated Max Caster before this match. That entrance, he could do no wrong after that.
Yeah.
After that entrance, could do no wrong.
Yeah.
And he said "cuck" on live national TV.
Yeah.
What a guy.
What about the Dark Side of the Ring comment? Did you catch
Yeah,
that one? That was
Yeah,
Fuck.
it was a great call.
It was sick.
I want Marco Stunt to fuck off.
Yep.
I think Brian Pillman Jr. is sick. I think Griff Garrison is sick. I think I could almost get around everyone in this match until Marco Stunt came out.
Yeah.
That includes Jurassic Express. For whatever reason, fucking what's his name? Lucha Boy.
Like Jungle
Fucking
Boy.
Luchasaurus.
Jungle Boy.
Jungle Boy.
Luchasaurus, man, like he should not be doing, like DJ made this point earlier today, he should not be kicking, like making those kicks when he's that fucking tall.
Yeah.
He does not wrestle for someone his size, and it kind of annoys me. But everyone else in the match was fine. Great match. Sorry, not great match. Great ending. I love the BME with the fucking. I don't think that was a tombstone. Was that like the fucking? I can't remember what the move was called.
He did it. He was
But it
doing a
looks sick.
tombstone whilst Thing did a moonsault.
But I can
Wasn't
get
it?
around that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that. I love the ending for that. The thing is, like, this was a fun match with not too much bullshit. I felt like, for the most part so far, like, yes, it has been a really weak first half of the show, but AEW really held back on its fucking just video game bullshit in matches for the most part in wrestling. Not the Cody Rhodes match. But everything else was yeah. I just don't have any thoughts for this match, man.
I
On
thought-
to the next.
I thought this match was insanely chaotic. I felt like they didn't have any structure to it whatsoever. Everyone was just getting in the ring and fighting, and
But nobody was doing
Fucking mess.
Nobody was doing 6,000 outside dives. Nobody was fucking doing
Oh.
these stupid fucking gymnastic
that.
spots. It
Okay.
was, the only shit that was annoying me, it was just the fucking all the kicks and all that stuff.
Okay.
And usually you get that in wrestling these days anyway. But
So that's
they
good.
weren't doing all the high spots.
Okay, so it wasn't a gym this show. It was like a $2
No,
indie
it's like
show
the
then. Okay.
AEW really held back on the gymnast bullshit on this show. I felt so
Okay.
far.
Not fair.
And as to the end of the Snow, Cody and QD so far has only been the only match that really has had AEW's true bullshit signature on it.
Yeah.
But that's it for me so far.
All right, Juicy Boy. Let's see what you've got.
Yeah, look, in answer to Jack's little comment there, the only reason why they managed to scale back on all the fucking gymnastics shit was because they fucking didn't book the Young Bucks to actually wrestle. So that's why
True.
there was less flips and gymnastics on them. I agree with Carl in that I'm not a huge fan of these matches, even when WWE does them and when they do them with a lot of good people in them. The whole thing of anyone just tagging anyone, it just doesn't really... I always just feel like it's a bit all over the place. I much would prefer a match with 3 teams over that, or even like if it's 4 teams, then a tag team turmoil type format. Because I just think, especially with they got so many people on their roster that are so green that it seems like maybe they should be avoiding these really convoluted kind of multi-man matches, especially since we live in a day and age where they like to plan every little spot that they're going to do before they go out there. They like to have everything pre-planned. So it just seems like it's only a recipe for disaster anytime they do these big multi-man matches like this in AEW. As Jack already said earlier, Luchasaurus doing the kicks, he's too big and powerful looking. He doesn't need to be doing roundhouse kick, and now an axe kick, and now a side karate kick. Like, dude, just fucking take your fucking forearm and just clobber the piss out of him, cunt. You're literally a dinosaur. That you spend all that time in the gym making yourself look that good, and then you cover it up with like a child's mask that makes you look like a fucking a WWE gimmick from a WWE gimmick from the early fucking 90s, and then you're doing all these fucking kicks that look like shit, because if you've ever seen Tajiri throw a roundhouse kick, that is what an impactful kick looks like. And these have nothing on them. It looks like a backyarder trying to pull off a combo that he saw AJ Styles do on TNA. And it just doesn't look right. Jungle Boy should be a singles star on his own, and he should be competing for the TV title or something like that.
The straw.
This wasn't terribly offensive in terms of the wrestling. I thought it was okay. Daniels and Kaz held it together as always. Was really glad to see them win, even though the stipulation made it obvious. I like the finish. I do think eventually that Kaz is going to have to go on his own as a single star because I think that it seems like Christopher Daniels is getting closer and closer to winding things down. Varsity Blondes, amazing. I'd like to see Varsity Blondes versus the Gun Club in a tag match where they get some time. Other than that, quite chaotic, but nothing that really pissed me off either.
Okay. Fair enough. So we know that obviously SCU pick up the win. They're going to take on the Young Bucks. I think they said Double or Nothing, did they? Was that where they lined it up for?
No, I think it's next week on
Next
Dynamite.
week?
Isn't it?
Okay. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was next week. So that's going to be title versus the tag team, I guess. That's the step. If they win, they get the titles. If they lose, they disband. Fed Online. Then we go to John Moxley and Yuji Nagata's little promo thing. Weird placement considering the fact that he did get beaten down by 6 dudes at the start of the show to then have him backstage with his US title that he doesn't carry around to AEW.
Sorry, I saw it more as a pre-tape.
Yeah,
It's just taped.
I get that, but then put a graphic up. Just put a graphic up because it just saves you the issue of looking stupid, right?
A street point there, bro.
Thank you, bro. Thank you so much.
Very astute.
Yep. I don't know if any of you guys want to say anything about that Nagata Moxley thing.
I just thought Moxley was really reaching to make it seem like there was a real issue there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the only thing that I saw Nagata say was, "Let's do it." You know,
he accepted the challenge.
He accepted the challenge, and then Moxley's going on and on about how like he called him a little punk or something. And Moxley's gonna like make sure that he like
watches his mouth,
never moves again or something like that. Like he never gets up again. Like, dude, he just accepted your challenge. Not once did he say anything rude about you.
He's making like death threats.
It's clear to me that no one knows how to write anything behind the scenes. And certainly when we get to our next segment, I'm going to talk about that.
I guess, would you like to open or would you like to close on this segment?
I'd be happy to open. I'd be happy to close. I'd be happy to do anything.
Let him open.
Okay, we'll let him open, but I'll quickly do it. Tony Schiavone announces Kenny Omega is out for a big announcement. Carl, what exactly went down?
Fucking hell. This was the worst thing on the show. And this is me comparing that to Darby Allin sitting there on a stairwell with a medical personnel for 2 minutes doing nothing. This was worse than that. Firstly, why the fuck would Nakazawa come out with him like nothing happened earlier with a smile on his face? Get fucked, okay? Maybe he's his little bitch, cool. Why couldn't Don come out with him? Why couldn't Don come out with him? And I'll circle back to that later. Omega's promo, some of the verbiage was just atrocious.
Go Eld.
An exciting match called Blood and Guts. The crowd cheer. Well, that makes one of us. What? You're asking them if they're excited for the match, and then they cheer, and you said, well, that makes one of us. What, one of us that isn't excited? Is that what you're trying to... Because it didn't come across that way. It came across like you didn't know what the fuck you were going on about. The camera work was shit when he told Nakazawa to show the belts. I don't know why they're standing in that spot, but the camera work in AEW is killing me. They fucking don't do close-ups when they need to do a close-up. They don't cut to things when they need to cut to things. People are hitting moves in the fucking background of a multi-man match, and you don't see them taking place. They need someone behind the scenes that knows how to go camera 1, camera 2, camera 3. Okay, now we find out. Okay, now we find out who the 2 people are going to be for the contendership match, and I went fuck off when I found out it was Pac and Orange Cassidy. Isn't Double or Nothing there like WrestleMania?
Yes.
So this is this match. Right? I was expecting fucking maybe Samoa Joe to fucking walk out or some shit. Then okay, all right. Maybe the tie in with the Impact thing in the past or whatever. Maybe Joe's not available or whatever. But still. These are the guys going for Omega's belt at their WrestleMania. Nothing against Pac. Fucking Neville, Mr. fucking green apple and a glass of fucking tap water when he's got a hot meal in front of him and Joe's across from him with a tall, cold glass of fucking beer, a frosty pint, and he's drinking tap water. All right? So these 2 are going to be in the number 1 contendership match to go for the main belt of their big show of the year. I don't want to see that match. Don't care who wins. I don't want to see it either way. And I just thought, why is Orange Cassidy involved? What a fucking letdown. Last pay-per-view, he got made a bitch by Miro. And as it was wearing on, Kenny's like making fun of Orange. And it got real painful when Kenny started to fake laugh. I said, come on, get to the point. So apparently Kenny Omega made wearing sunglasses famous. Maybe he thinks that's going to get him hate. Yeah, it got me hate with me because I'm like, that's a fucking stupid thing to say. And you are the champion of the second biggest wrestling company in the United States. And you cut a promo like a fucking novice, dude. You fucking suck. You can't cut promos. This is why you might need someone behind the scenes that knows how to give you dot points so you don't go fucking so far out there that it's like he was lost for a second of what was going to say. He thought he was being witty. He thought he was being clever. He sounded like a fucking idiot. Okay? And why would his sunglasses, why would Orange Cassidy's sunglasses be bought on the black market? They're Ray-Bans. You can buy them at any fucking sunglass hut that you find anywhere. Why would they be in the black market? What is it?
They're the freshly squeezed edition.
Oh, shut up.
He got them custom made. They're not. He didn't buy them on the black market. He got them custom made. There's no. You get on the black market. You can get a fucking handgun. Maybe not in America. You can get bad shit like that. You can get all this crazy shit, explosives on the black market. That's what's called the black market, cunt. Why would his fucking custom made sunglasses be bought for $800 on the black market? That was a moronic fucking comment to make. You shouldn't be on the microphone. Don Callis should be out there talking for you because you can't fucking do it. Okay? I'm sorry I'm getting so heated, but like it pissed me off that he's in this position and Meltzer thinks he's fucking 6 stars out of his asshole. Fuck you. All right? And as far as I'm concerned, they can't write a show. And the last thing I wrote was that was fucking shit. Poor Tony having to fucking stand there.
How's it going, Kadala? Welcome,
Amazing.
Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Kadala, thanks for joining me on my GTA stream the other day. Thank you.
Before we continue down the chain, I do want to point out, just to get Carl's reaction, at the fact that Orange Cassidy is ranked number 1, pack number 2.
Yeah, because he's got a lot of matches on AEW Dark, a show that nobody watches that has about 24 fucking matches an episode. I'm sure he's like QT Marshall was in a 13 match winning streak going into his match with Cody. Who did he beat?
So true as well. Yeah, there's a lot of people that have really inflated streaks going into this. There was like a 9-match win streak and like all this stuff. Go on.
John Moxley is 32-2.
32-2.
Like, fuck off, cunt.
How many fucking weeks are there in a year?
It's like
52, right?
Yeah, 52
is this win-loss record this year or is it overall? So he's had 34 matches and we're only in May.
Man,
fucking weird, bro.
Busy on Dark, eh?
Dark and fucking Elevation as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, they've got
Fucking
Dynamite
Julia
Dark.
Hart.
Yeah, Dynamite Dark and Dark Elevation. Ridiculous. All right.
Just call it Elevation.
No. Yeah, Juicy Boy would like to go by the looks of things.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm gone. So look, I disagree with Carl slightly because I actually thought the portion of the promo where Kenny Omega, other than the sunglasses bit, but the actual portion of the promo where Kenny said, "Oh, kids like to dress up like you as Halloween because you're a character and you're popular, but you're nowhere near being able to compete for the heavyweight title." I liked that portion of his promo because, yes, that is how the champion, no matter who they are, should react when presented with the idea that Orange Cassidy might be their opponent for the big show. Even though I thought Kenny Omega himself was doing a pretty shit job, you know, I liked certain bits of it. I was trying to like it, right? Like, I was trying to like it, but he kept on saying all this weird shit, and the whole thing where he's like, "Gold," instead of just saying "gold," and just like, other than the bit where he basically put Orange Cassidy in his place and Orange Cassidy stood there in silence like a bitch, I thought...
What did he come out for if he was just going to stand there and do nothing?
Yeah. He didn't try to hit him. He didn't shove him. He didn't slap him. He didn't do nothing. If someone was in my face talking to me like that, you'd want to give him a smack, right? Like, so it just made him look stupid. So that part, I thought Kenny actually did okay. And the rest of it, I thought was just rubbish. I thought he showed up. Yeah, he's got all these belts. He's got Michael Nakazawa holding all these belts, which shows how much prestige he holds the title belts in, because he doesn't care. He's only wearing the AEW one. He's got these other fucking 4 belts sitting on this other guy who could never even dream of being close to one of them belts himself. Just all over the shop. It just felt like an indulgence for Kenny Omega. Like, that's what this was. Like, he's coming out there. Meltzer's given me his endorsement, and I guess that means that I'm on the level of a John Cena or a Roman Reigns or whoever else. So I can just go out there for 10 minutes at a time and just riff like The Rock does, you know, because I'm that level of performer. Well, Kenny Omega, you're not that level of performer. You're not even close. We can complain about writers being too overbearing in WWE and them micromanaging promos. I guarantee you, if Kenny Omega was in WWE right now, his promo still would have been cringy, but it wouldn't have been as god-awful as that promo that he cut right there was, with the exception of that little comment about Orange Cassidy being a piece of, like, not worthy as a draw or a threat to the title, which was smart. Sunglasses thing, also fucking stupid. Whole thing, overall, pretty dumb. That's all I got to say. Go ahead, Carl.
I just wanted to say, DJ, they got fucking Arn Anderson backstage. You don't need a writer. Just fucking have a chinwag with Arn. Dude, cut better promos than fucking anyone in the business. Have a chinwag with him. Figure out your fucking dialogue and your verbiage. You got people there. Don't just trust Kenny to go out there and cut the promo. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, very true. Mr. 55. Go on, son.
I'm not going to drag this segment out because it doesn't need that much airtime, so I'm going to pass, but you guys pretty much said everything. But Omega burying Cassidy to his face was sick, so that's all I got to say.
Yeah. No, fair enough. Then Miro comes out, challenges, announces that he's got a championship match. Don't know how that happened, but he gets his championship match. I guess they're doing one of the weekly championship matches that the TNT title has. He's finally turned on Kip Sabian. He's on his own. He's doing his own thing. Do you guys envision some good times ahead for Miro? Let's start off with his biggest fan, Juicy Boy.
No.
Okay.
I don't.
Okay.
I don't think there's good times ahead. I think at least he's gotten a little bit from where he was when he came in, fucking playing video games and being the best man at this midget's wedding that he looked like he could accidentally step on him if he didn't realize he was right next to him. You know, compared to now, at least he looks like he's trying to be a badass now. But after his comments that he made about Jim Cornette and other people on Twitter, you know, I'm over him. And he's shit, and he's just some metrosexual Russian guy that looks like a bear in a gay club waiting to pick up a twink. And, you know, I just think that, yeah, that's right. I went there.
Where is that? Where did you go? That's
because no, the reason is
But he's not metrosexual now.
No, but because he dyed the hair back, but he still had all the baby oil and the weird pants, and I just thought, what the fuck? This is just weird how he looks. And the promo was okay, but at this point, I just don't really have that much interest in seeing it, to be honest with you.
Okay. Fair enough. Mr. 55, good things or bad things for Miro's future?
No, Miro's got a bright future ahead. Couldn't care less, though. Good, quick little promo by him. He's getting better, but yeah.
California.
Well, they can't format a show because I don't think they should have 2 interviews, one after another.
Yeah.
They should have had that earlier in the show to break up something else. And nobody seems to get interviewed. They just take the mic off Tony. If Miro loses to Darby Allin, I'm not interested whatsoever. I don't want to see him lose to him because Miro is a man and Darby Allin is a boy. Miro showed Omega how to cut a fucking promo. He got to the point real quick. That's all I needed to fucking hear. He was intense. I liked it. And you know what? They know how to at least build the card for the following show. That's something that they're doing right. You know, they've built a card throughout this show for the next show. So now if you are an AEW fan, you probably getting pumped up. This is what EPW used to do back in the day. As the show wore on, then the card for the next show was slowly starting to get announced because the angles were, making them have to allude to that, and that's what I liked. It was like building for the following week. Very cool. And then they did a little package about next week's show and showed all these matches that are going to be on the card. Very good. Cody has an announcement next week. Wow, who fucking cares, right?
Yeah, who fucking gives a
Oh,
shit?
what's it going to be this time, bro? He's going to be making an
Yeah.
announcement, and then Samoa Joe's going to someone else is going to make their debut during Cody's segment. Maybe
Yeah, probably.
it's going to be the next big angle for Cody going.
I don't give a shit,
double it up,
Cody.
man.
You suck, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's you suck.
Yeah.
You want to make QT Marshall a star, bro? I dare you to have the match with him at Double or Nothing. I dare you.
You can't even make yourself a star, let alone that fucking black hole of charisma.
Well, look, I want to quickly chuck in my thoughts on Miro's situation. I hope he does well because I am a fan of his. I don't see it going well. However, I do think he's going to win the TNT Championship come next week because they threw Darby Allin down a flight of stairs.
You can snap that cunt in half, dude.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're gonna stick the title.
Toilet break.
Yeah, no worries. Right before the main event, that's some good timing there, DJ. You better.
No, that's all right.
Yeah,
I can fill the time. I can fill the time.
Yeah. Okay, so Instant Classic
Yeah.
reckons that Kip will cost him. I reckon that they're going to put the title on Miro to then feud with Kip. So I don't think Kip will cost anything there.
He shouldn't lose the belt to Kip either.
No, I don't think he should lose the belt to Kip. But I just don't. Yeah.
I'm concerned, dude. I'm concerned that this is. I remember back in the day when Rey Mysterio, when he had taken off the mask and he was a little homie G.
Little homie.
And he beat fucking Scott Norton on Nitro. He beat Bam Bam Bigelow on Nitro, and then he beat Kevin Nash on Nitro. I was so fucking mad as a fucking 12-year-old kid seeing that happen. I do not want to see Darby Allin have a pinfall victory over Miro because Miro slips on a banana peel because of. I've already forgotten the guy's name.
Yeah, well, Kip Sabian.
Kip Sabian. Sorry, Kip Sabian. I'd rather Chris Sabin.
Really annoying.
And I hated Chris Sabin. I hated him.
Far out.
I don't know why. Just hated him.
Some hatred.
But look, as far as his future's concerned, look, this is one of the only. There's a few guys, but he looks like a fucking man. He's jacked. He's got himself into way better shape than he was when he first debuted as Rusev.
Yep. Absolutely. Any other points before we?
What else can I think of to say? Waiting for DJ to get back.
Oh well, Instant Classic raised a good point that Kip Sabian is not designed to be a face.
I'm going to do the same thing as
He's not
DJ
designed to be a
while-
wrestler. How about that?
Okay.
He's not designed to be a wrestler.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And obviously, we got two of our broadcast colleagues going to go to the toilet.
Jeez, it's like people getting muted on our streams.
Yeah, I know. They just.
What are you trying to flex? Are you trying to flex there, Jack? Because your shirt's so baggy, we wouldn't be able to see a bulge even if there was.
No, we're just getting ready for the main event because I'm gonna have a whiz, have a couple of
All right,
whiz.
get on with it then.
Moron.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just the show's formatted so weird, and it just feels like they plot along a little bit, but it's just match, maybe one little promo, then something backstage. But I think they could be doing more. They got a lot of people on their roster that they could be implementing in the show if they could think of ways to do stuff backstage. But obviously they don't like that stuff and they don't want to do that stuff because it doesn't seem realistic to have people walking around backstage with the cameraman right there as they're talking about things and doing things.
Yeah. I don't know what some of their structural stuff is because it does seem like a lot of it isn't. It just doesn't link up. It doesn't flow like a TV show, especially not one. Obviously, we're accustomed now to. I mean, I'm accustomed to WWE stuff. You've obviously been there for even longer and been accustomed to WCW, and this isn't flowing like a normal wrestling show, and it hasn't for a while because it all seems really chopped together. It seems like everything's just kind of frantically like they've got a whiteboard out back and they're just like, all right, well, while Tony's out here, we may as well just chuck a couple there at the same time and then we'll wait an extra hour or so and then here comes another one and we'll chuck a couple there as well. We'll give it like 3 or 4 minutes at a time. It's way too long. If you're gonna cut to stuff like this,
Yeah.
it should also be, if you're gonna do it like back-to-back interviews or something, separate areas. Break up the fact that it's there, because it just feels like it's stagnant the entire time. You're just sitting there watching, and you're just slowly getting more and more disinterested.
There's no variety, bro.
Yeah.
It's not a case of like, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. I'm on the edge of my seat. It's just like we're just waiting for the next match to take place, the next match to take place, and you know they need. I don't know who's like editing shit behind the scenes, but they needed like we need more packages. We need some vignettes on other characters so we can get to know other people on the roster. I'm sure if they did a series of vignettes on the Butcher and the Blade doing some character stuff, you know, that's what wrestling's based on, is characters. It's not just the wrestling matches.
Yeah.
They also used to do this shit back in the day as well. Like, why are you not implementing stuff for a wrestling television show? Like vignettes and fucking promos, man.
Yeah. This 55, I'm assuming, is joining very, very, very shortly. Just finishing up a quick conversation with Scott. No, sorry, Mighty Molly, I believe. Now it's time to get into the main event, and while he's finishing up, Blood and Guts. Main event.
It sounded like Luke pressed a button for like
Yeah,
a voice clip too.
That was all Mr.
New
55
World
on that
Order.
one. I thought I may as well. I'll start this one with my opinion on this. I thought it was.
All right.
I thought it was really, really good, considering I went in with a lot of doubt because of some recent War Games matches that have happened that haven't flowed well, and they've just been a bunch of issues. I thought up until everyone was involved that the match was really good. There wasn't a lot of dead moments. It was like the action was flowing and stuff like that. In my opinion, Carl, in my opinion, there was some good action. But the issue I thought was that they killed themselves every time they entered the match. Someone would come in and they'd bust themselves open. So by the time that you got to everyone was in the match and ready to go, everyone was dead. Everyone was like, they were done.
Yeah.
And then like it heated up a bit more when you got close to the finish, kind of. But after you get all these entrants in and all these good moments happening, and there was a couple of iffy moments, but for the better part, a lot of it was really good. There was a lot of movement, there was a lot of action, it wasn't stopping, it wasn't standstill at times. They would try to continue changing up the dynamic whenever a new person come in, a new matchup going on. And then you got to all of them in, and they had to split themselves off into the sides, and then the brawl, and then everyone was gassed. And then you had to wait until the main event came in. But now that I've got you here, I want to quickly mention, before we get into your opinions, that once MJF had escaped the cage, it may have been before that, and ICS, you'll have to confirm to me when it did happen, they went to picture-in-picture during the escape of the cage. So the pivotal moment where MJF was scaling the cage because he had escaped, they had gone to picture-in-picture. They cut back from commercial to announce the fact that MJF had escaped the cage. If Instant Classic, if you could let me know when it actually started, when it went to commercial, it cut back to him being on top of the cage. Now that is not good TV.
And I watched the Fight TV version
Yeah.
where I saw what happened during that time, and fuck, man, it was obvious.
Yeah.
They really need to like. I don't want to cut in on what you're talking about here, but they need to think about what they're doing with the streaming part, because like Jericho was just hanging off the side of the cage, looking down, waiting for someone to tell them that they're back from commercial break.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how does that, and obviously, as I said, it cut back to Jericho's face halfway up the cage. So, like, all of a sudden, he's scaling the cage in a match that escaping the cage isn't an option. Like, it was not part of the gimmick on it or anything like that. The idea of it is you stay inside the cage. And now all of a sudden, he's scaling up the cage. MJF is on top of the cage. My opinion, otherwise, though, I liked the match. Shitty moments at times, but for what it was, I thought it went quite well. Lots of blood. which is always refreshing to see. But
It was good. Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good. So I'll pass it along swiftly to the rest of my my esteemed cohorts. I would like to start it off with someone that probably watched a War Games match before any of us did, and that is California. So
I've seen a few of them. I've seen some good ones. I've seen some stinkers too. Okay. The Pinnacle make their entrance, and I like the theme song. It's a nice Four Horsemen ripoff. When I listened to it on YouTube just after their entrance, and I was like, yeah, they've kind of got that vibe, and I know what they're going for here. That Tully's the manager. They got the purple and gold. They're making MJ. They're going to make MJF a Ric Flair, and that's probably the person you should go with if you're going to do something like that. Then the Inner Circle make their entrance, and I'm like, man, Sammy Guevara needs to hit puberty at some point. He's just a little boy. He needs to grow some facial hair. Maybe he can't. That's why he hasn't tried to yet. He's probably still on that awkward stage of puberty. I wrote this down, even though it's a kind of a dumb comment, but I thought it was funny with what they were all wearing. The Inner Circle. I don't know if they've dressed like this beforehand, but I thought they looked like they were dressed like gay Slipknot with the. Except they cut off the arms and obviously didn't have any masks on, but gay Slipknot was what I got from their outfits. It started off interesting, an international spot in a War Games match. This is supposed to be a fight. This is supposed to be a brawl. This is okay. Sorry, blood and guts. Sorry. They kept on. Tony, you saw the first Blood and Guts, but it's called War Games. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't Blood and Guts. What they were doing.
I know they're not allowed to say War Games, but still.
No, but
surely
like,
what?
dude,
What are the fucking WWE going to be calling their lawyers like? Oh, they said War Games, like they.
Oh no, they promoted a match
how
that we
you gonna
owned.
because the fact of the matter was, what happened in the 80s with the Four Horsemen was not what happened at AEW, but go ahead.
Okay, so right at the beginning of the match, and I do have a few notes here. I'll try and condense myself, but right at the beginning, Sammy Guevara, I can't remember the other guy's name, the guy who's against it first off.
Dax.
No, I can't remember. Yeah, that's the guy. The turnbuckle shit right at the beginning, and then the second turnbuckle, and then the third one. Not welcome in a blood and guts match. Okay, don't do that shit. Think of something else. The referees were yelling at everyone on the outside, like "fuck up." Just. We get it. Your referees just fuck up for a second.
Yeah.
I wrote we need a timer on the screen, and then we got one about 20 seconds later, and I wrote, there we go, cunt. Then I said, I don't mind Sean Spears after seeing the Sky High, and then I saw a fucking chair shot to the head, and I was like, yes. Well, at least it looked like that Sammy got hit in the head with it, even though it probably just glanced off the shoulder. I liked seeing that because this is a blood and guts match, and I hate seeing them do the into the gut, then onto the back, then into the gut, then onto the back. I like seeing a couple of chair shots to the head in this match, even though it was quite protected. There's nothing wrong with it. Put your hand up. It should be fine. It was certainly not a 5-minute break between Ortiz came out, when Ortiz came out, and I noticed that a couple of times. That definitely wasn't 5 minutes. Spanish Fly was cool, but come on, stop with the spots. I just want to see a fight. And then, my moment came when Guevara fucking ate shit off that fucking springboard. I love that. It's like, enough of your shit, bro. There you go. Stop it and just get on with the whole fucking thing. Get on with the fucking fight. It's a fight. It's a war. It's blood and guts. Stop with your fucking hokey shit. Okay? I like the gory special into the side of the cage. Santana made his entrance and hit this Uranagi, and then he looked for the hard cam, and they didn't do that close-up of his face. But 10 seconds later, they did a close-up of him when again, problems with their camera work. I'll try not to eat up the whole match here, but I like seeing the Hager Wardlow kind of showdown there. I like the MMA stuff against the cage for Hager. Makes sense. MJF looks like Michael Bublé, but missing a chromosome. And I was like, what is going on with Chris Jericho's weight, man? Like, it's been mentioned a lot before, but he did something where he ran at someone, like kind of gave him like a forearm to the face. And I thought he looked like a fat kid running away from somebody with a piece of dog shit on the end of a stick. Like, that's what he looked like to me. Like, just the way he was running, I was like, man, you look like a fat kid. I don't know what is happening with him, but he needs to try and cut that stomach in half. At 1 hour 41 and 40 seconds, a fan tried starting a Fight Forever chant, and no one joined in. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, suck shit, dude. Suck
Like
shit.
you could hear one guy going "Fight Forever." No one's joining in. Eat a dick, bro.
Dickwad.
I then wrote the Pinnacle have to win this. This is their first blood and guts match. They really need to establish themselves. But with the way the match was going after that, they looked like they were dead. The way things were going, that they were pissing out with blood. They had been murdered. And I thought, well, there's no way that they can possibly win this because the selling went so far that it didn't seem like it would be realistic that there would be any way that they could come back from it, especially with what was going on with MJF before the wretched commercial break. But they brought the fork out, shitty camera angle on that, didn't get to see shit. All I saw was the back of the guy that did it. I think it was Ortiz or whatever. There was another chair shot to the head, sick. Again, with the fucking camera angles, with the pile drivers and the wood. It happened like right in the background at one stage. And then, of course, as I mentioned before, Jericho's climbing, waiting to be told that the commercial break's over to keep going. Man, that's just bad shit. They should have cut to stuff in the ring whilst that was going on. Or at least show a replay of... And I noticed they don't do replays. They don't do instant replays in AEW. They should have shown a replay of Tully letting fucking MJF out the cage and Tully taking a tumble to the floor. I don't know why they don't do instant replays. They should. They
do.
They sometimes
do. They?
do.
Because
No, they didn't do it on
they
the show.
They did one for the Coast to Coast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that was
that was like one. And then they did one for the bumper after the match as well. But
yeah,
like,
well, they still
something
did
like
one,
this-
so fuck you.
yeah, well, fuck you, cunt. When they go to a fucking commercial break and they come back from commercial break, show what fucking happened and how MJF got on the top of the fucking cage, you little mark.
Fuck off.
It was suspenseful, but it was dragging at the same time. I fucking laughed my ass off when Tony Schiavone said, "You no good piece of shit."
Yeah,
MJF.
me too.
I
That
was like,
was
holy fuck, he swore on TV. That's amazing.
a no good piece of shit.
Yeah, like-
I wasn't sure if I was happy with how it, switched and MJF was suddenly in control because he was like a fucking mess. Crimson Mask. He looked like he fucking had the absolute shit kicked out of him. And all of a sudden, he was back in control. I guess they needed to figure out a way to get it to the finish. But, Sammy on the outside, don't do it. Don't do it. We surrender. We surrender. And then I wrote, do it anyway, fucking do it, throw them off. Man, it was really, this is where like late 90s, early 2000s WWE and their production stuff really comes into play with something like this, because when you look at how Jericho landed those things, the grating, it was clearly plastic and underneath was mattresses. WWE back in the day, they would have figured out a way to make that look like he fucking died, There are ways that they obviously do it where there are mattresses, like Mae Young going off the fucking stage and all that shit. But just the production value wasn't there for that. And that's all I really wanted to say. I just thought that really, it made me laugh and it made me think, yeah, like you guys didn't really deliver with that bump. It could have looked better if you worked on it better.
Yeah, and all it takes is just a single camera angle to fix stuff like that. In reality, it's a simple camera angle that would take it from forgettable to memorable.
They probably just need to put something underneath that fucking plastic grating, which was supposed to look like, I guess,
Steel,
metal,
yeah.
maybe. Just something underneath it to cover up those black mattresses that you could tell it was a mattress.
Yeah.
Like just something.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to Mr. 55.
Uh, I thought the gear that they were all wearing was really cool. I thought the matching prison attire was sick, and I also really liked the white, gold, and purple attire that the Pinnacle were wearing. And thank the fucking Lord, Sean Spears has dyed his hair back, man. Thank God, he looked ridiculous when he was bleach blonde. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
Just
Awful.
Maybe Peyton wasn't giving him as much loving with that hairstyle, so he went back to it.
maybe not, man. I won't drag on too much about it. I thought there was a funny moment like near the start where Dax went for an instinct pin. I think anyone from the Pinnacle doing an instinct pin was really fucking silly because they've got Tully managing him. Tully's been in War Games before. Come on now. Don't give me that bullshit. It would have made so much more sense for Sammy Guevara to do it because he's so much more younger and he grew up on Ruthless Aggression WWE, I'm assuming. So it's just, a bit silly
He's
that Dax was
27. He's
It's
27.
like
Exactly.
psychology for such psychology's sake. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly. The unprotected chair shot at first really shocked me. At first, I was like, now that we know what we know, I was like, that's not on. But it was pretty protected. Now that I've looked back and watched it again, he kind of did have his arm up like that, and I don't see anything really wrong with that. Like, it looked fine the way it was.
Well, it fooled you into thinking it was a legit chair shot, didn't it? So
Exactly, it shocked me. But I also think it shocked me also because we just never see it. The blood was sick, heaps of blood. I loved it.
yeah, it was fucking good.
Guevara really needed to slow down throughout this match. This is probably the first match that FTR genuinely impressed me in. Like, genuinely. I've never liked them. This match, different story. I was not expecting them to tear the ring apart. I really like that. The pile drivers into the fucking exposed pine, as Excalibur kept calling it, the exposed Jarrah. Pretty brutal shit, but yeah, the camera angles were fucking annoying. But it just Excalibur, man, just shut up with the exposed pine. The exposed pine. Like, no. Over and over and over again. The exposed pine. Oh, the exposed pine. Fuck off. The coast to coast was fucking sweet. Tully definitely taught the Pinnacle how to blade properly before the match. You could tell because anytime anyone in the inner circle tried to blade, it looked like shit. Anytime someone in the Pinnacle tried to blade, they looked like fucking Triple H in 2003.
yeah.
I got what I wanted out of this. People climbing the cage. I know that it's not traditional War Games rules, and Instant Classic made a good point earlier that it should have been no disqualification when MJF left the cage. Actually, Tiger Gaming made that point, but Instant Classic made it on
It should have
behalf
been a surrender. Yeah.
that makes sense, but it is also blood and guts, so AEW gets away with it. They get away with it in my books.
It's
It's
their own
fine.
rules, technically speaking. They can do whatever they want to it.
It works anyway because, hey, like, I also thought MJF and Jericho climbing on top of the cage after all this time, about a year and a half of all this bullshit, finally on top of the cage, fucking back and forth submissions, all this shit, just fighting on top of the cage. Very poetic finish. But as Carl said, I know that we're all not expecting Jericho to fucking get thrown in the concrete, but come on now.
At least.
Like, it's just they could have done so much more with it. Even like,
even if he disappeared through the top of it and you didn't see where he went. Like years ago, the giant choke slam DDP off the stage through. It was just like it's just this wooden box, but he went through it and you couldn't see where he went afterward. Just something like that.
I realized really late into this match, I really just could not tell who was face or who was heel. I could not tell at all.
It's pretty clear for most people, to be fair. Pinnacle is the heel, Inner Circle is the face.
If you follow AEW, it's probably pretty clear.
It doesn't take much to realize that MJF is the heel.
Why would
situation.
faces dress as prisoners? Why would faces dress as prisoners?
Because of the fact that they're locked in a cell, and on top of that, those are the prisons of their hometowns. So it's like, oh, we're locked in. This is who we're representing. Just think before you speak, Mr. 55.
Think.
Just literally think about it, just for a little bit, a split second longer.
You know,
Puts-
I
you
don't watch
gotta-
the show, and I knew who were the
you
who were
know,
the heels and baby faces.
You got to think a little bit.
All right. Well, clearly, do you have anything else to say, Mr. 55, of use?
Blood.
Blood. Very nice.
Bad.
Blood.
Blood.
All right, and for the final opinion on the card, I've handed it to you, Mr. Thin Ice. Let's see how much you've got to say about this one.
Yeah, look, overall, I thought this was pretty well done. I thought, okay, they didn't fill this with a bunch of the usual bullshit that I've come to expect from AEW. I was like, okay, at least we're actually getting a knockdown, drag-out fight for most of it. As Carl said, they did spend a bunch of time just doing, some international spots and some other things that, a lot of springboards and stuff that didn't really feel like they had much of a place in the match. But there was also tons and tons of people getting thrown into the cage and different moves being done into the cage. And I think it was Santana got thrown, slammed into the cage wall, and then fell in between the cage and the ring. And that was cool. And I was like, okay, Wardlow and Jake Hager are facing off, and they're the big powerhouses for their teams. And, all the stuff that was done with the Ortiz. Thank you, Instant Classic. I thought in terms of the actual pacing of the match and the stuff that they were doing, yes, this mostly feels like a fight. Spanish Fly that fucking Sean Spears took looked cool, but how would you have the balance to step from the ropes of one ring across to the ropes of the other ring to take the Spanish Fly Bomb after you've just been hit in the back of the legs with a chair full force from someone that you want? It just didn't make sense that that would happen. And it was also only for him to be given a move as well. So it just looked too fake for me, even though I thought it was athletically impressive. I echo what you guys said about Guevara seemed to be really hyped up, and I probably think he was looking to really impress people with his performance. It did just seem like, dude, you're rushing a bit too much. You're seeing yourself at the end of these spots before you've even done them, and you're rushing a bit too fast, and that's why there are a couple of sloppy little moments from him. The fork spot would have been better with some better camera work. I did not even know that a second pile driver onto the pine had even occurred, because it didn't happen on the it didn't even happen within the view of the camera. Most of my other thoughts kind of echoed the sentiments that you guys said, but when they got up to the top, I thought, okay, this is cool. They're getting up to the top. MJF, like you said, he did a low blow, which that's how he turned it around on Jericho, which I could see a hard low blow. You can turn things around in your favor.
Yeah.
Then he puts the armbar on, and Jericho, at that point, I'm thinking Jericho really should be tapping to this armbar right now. I'm thinking Jericho, just roll over and roll him off you. He lets go of it, stomps on his hand a couple of times, weakly slams his hand a couple of times into the cage roof, puts it on again, realizes he's not going to tap out, just gives up on it. So now we're working over to the edge there. Me and Jack made a comment as we were watching earlier on in the match that part of the stage block clearly looked like it was rigged for a bump to happen. So now they go over there, we're sick. Here's the problem, though. Now they've gone over there and they do the what I thought was a pretty decent finish of their they had MJF be the mastermind in the match and kind of outsmart everyone and say, look, I'll throw your leader who you guys follow with all this cult-like devotion because of who he is, him being Chris Jericho. I will end his career. I'll throw him off of this thing if you guys don't give my team, let us have this victory, even though this is a big fight that you guys really wanted to win. What do you want more? Do you want to win this fight, or do you want, to see Jericho's career get ended? So I liked the philosophy behind that. Okay. So then the match ends, and that makes sense to me. Pinnacle absolutely had to be the winners of this match. It couldn't have been anyone else. If it had been the Inner Circle, it would have been absolute death for the Pinnacle. So now the match is over, and Jericho is still up there. And they spend this weird amount of time kind of just focusing on MJF and Jericho up on the cage, where you can clearly see MJF and Chris Jericho blatantly having a conversation, right up close. none of the commentators even say, "Oh, trash talking him there. He just told him he's a piece of crap." They couldn't even try to cover it up anything with anything like that. And it just was like, but then at the same time, I could hear all these bumps and all this other shit happening in the ring underneath all this time that they're up on the cage. Why couldn't you cut down below to some of the other Inner Circle members looking all scared and shit that Jericho's about to, why'd you have to keep it up on that fucking lingering on that shot of them awkwardly talking and trying to get Jericho into the right position?
Yeah.
Because you see him spend all this time adjusting, making sure his feet, and it's, you want to see him do it safely. It's not saying anything like that. But then, like you guys said, so he fell off. The instant that he back bumped onto the stage block, it should have cut back up to MJF and his face. They definitely didn't need to linger down on Chris Jericho, like where you can clearly, you're getting a close look at the crash pad and the thin plywood and the plastic fake looking grates, like you guys were saying. All of that, it's fine for him to land on a fake plastic grate with a crash mat underneath him, but we didn't really need to see it. If you'd have kept the cameras kept the cameras on other people and then you can see the doctors working on Jericho in the background, that would have really sold it. Just have him land, because the actual fall itself, once they got into it, looked good. He took a decent looking flat back bump on it. It had some impact to it. So just cut straight away from that and start cutting around to get different reactions and stuff like that. Don't linger on it so that everyone has all this time to analyze the frame and notice that, oh, that looks fake. I can see the crash mat there. And I think that really killed. It didn't kill it completely. I think they did a good job of making MJF a star and making the Pinnacle look like the top faction in the company. But it's like, I do think that they killed, 40% of what they would have built if it had have been a balls to the wall 1999 Attitude Era type bump where they've shot it and produced it to make it look impactful and look dangerous. They didn't really do that here, and it killed some of that electricity that they had done a really good job of building up to this point. But overall, like if I'm giving it a letter grade, which I will just for this main event, I'd probably give this like a solid, B minus. Like I thought this was a good match, except for those little nitpicks that I mentioned there.
No, I think that's a fair rating, and I do want to also say that I don't know about anyone else, but the moment after, well, most of the time that MJF was bleeding, but particularly the one after the match, they're going to build some shit around that, just because it did look sick having MJF just up the top there, top of the cage, bleeding everywhere. That looked like a classic moment, which we haven't had in a long time because they don't allow for that kind of visual anymore. But overall, if we're going to give it a letter rating, I'm probably going to echo the same thing. I'm probably going to give it a B. I really enjoyed it. A couple of nitpicky moments, obviously. I think we've outlined them all. The bump, for me, which made me feel okay about it and kind of reiterated the fact that I thought this was a good match, was the fact that the bump didn't matter much to me. When you compare it to the exploding barbed wire death match that happened, and you're like, fuck, like I cannot wait to talk about this one. Like that moment right there is something that we've got to fucking talk about. Had the match not been good before that crash pad bump, I wouldn't be surprised if we were having a similar conversation now, because if you lead to a moment that's completely fucking flat, people are going to talk about that. If the match didn't give you something to talk about, that match gave us something to talk about, where it was the point that the crash pad, so be it. Thank you so much for the bits on that one, Rabbit. That's huge. Much appreciated.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Huge.
That's huge.
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 It's absolutely huge.
Oh, jeez. Slap nuts with 9 bits. Not as impressive as
Thank
Rabbit,
you,
but
Jack.
thank you anyway.
Thank you.
Yeah, I tried.
Sick.
New World Order.
California, thank you so much for the bit there. That's incredible.
1 bit. How shit is that?
Well,
Every little bit counts.
You can't.
Very nice. Letter rating. Who wants to go in first between Mr. 55 and California for a letter rating? Who's going to put their hand up first?
Me.
I said hand up
You
first.
go first. You go first, Jack.
I have not gone first once all night.
Yes, you have.
Yeah, you
a
have.
couple of times.
Yeah, you have.
Which match?
I can't remember now, but I opened with your first. I think one of the first matches. Probably one of the
Yep.
ones where the information wasn't as important. You know, earlier on in the matches. Definitely opened up with you at least once.
The women's
Just
match.
bloody
bro.
give a fucking rating, bro.
That's why I don't open with you much.
I will also give it a little blurb. You guys like blurbs?
Thank you, Instant
Blurb.
Classic. There you go.
Blurb.
Jack open with Darby and Scorpion and Ethan. Owned.
Thank you,
Bullshit.
Instant Classic. Thank you, Instant Classic.
Thank you so
That's
much, Instant
bullshit.
Classic. You're a clown, Mr.
Thank you.
55. You're a
That's
clown.
one, and that was a segment. That was a segment, not a match.
So opened.
The show overall, like I had to again accepted that it was TV, so I can't go into it with high expectations. Blood and Guts overall exceeded expectations for me, but at the same time, just the weak little afterbirth was a bit like only because of the fucking landing again. Like that was the only thing. Other than that, great match. As for the event, first half, Wake is fucking piss, mate. Wake is piss first half. Second half, which was essentially the main event, goes hand in hand with that. So I'm going to give the entire show a C+. And I said earlier today that AEW are making moves. And I say this because I was impressed with the Blood and Guts match. And they've got a few promising shit with the less gymnastics bullshit. That's all from me.
California.
All right, so like I hated the show up until Miro's promo. That was like the first thing that I really liked. In one segment, I liked the whole thing.
So right
Obviously, I
before the
liked
main event.
Darby going down the stairs as well, but I wasn't supposed to like that part. I wasn't supposed to like the fact that the beloved baby face got thrown down the stairs, but I liked it because it was him. Other than that, I didn't like anything from the first bit of the show, at least the first hour, especially the biggest down point of the show being Kenny Omega's promo. But with the Blood and Guts match at least entertaining me and making me laugh and at least feel a bit entertained, I'm not going to give it an F. I'm not even going to give it a D. I'm going to give it a very deep C-. So like it was okay enough, but I wasn't really 100% like drawn in and gripped by the show. And they have so much shit that they need to learn for their television product to make it something that I would be interested in watching every week.
Yeah.
Quickly got to point out, Rabbit, huge player, fan, gifting one tier 1 sub, whatever it is.
And Kadala deserves it,
Absolutely.
by the way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you deserve it, Kadala.
Well, look,
Boys, I'm going to kiss Rabbit one day.
we're not gonna get into
All right,
that right now.
we
That's
get
fine.
it, bro.
We get it. We've seen it enough on stream. It's fine.
Sorry.
Well, look, that concludes Blood and Guts. Again, I think everyone was pleasantly surprised with at least the main event.
Bad.
Their blood.
Blood.
Look, I mean,
Blood.
I want to suck your blood.
Not enough Tay Conti, bro. Not enough of the bunny.
Nowhere near
a
enough.
lot of improvement, but as I said, it wasn't a pay-per-view. It was a special edition Dynamite. You could just do better next time. That's all we're saying.
I don't mind.
But with that being said, great main event. Pretty good. Hannah reckons the NXT tag title match was better, probably. So we'll see. But
Well, we don't
guys-
watch NXT in these parts.
Oh,
But we watch AEW. What's
yeah,
wrong with
what
us?
are you talking about? Yeah, Instant Classic reckons the pros of the show were the Acclaimed in the main event. That's a fair statement, I'd say.
Yep.
But
I'm going to
guys,
bounce up.
another edition of the Four Horsemen done. What are we
Yeah.
going to do next? What is coming up next in terms of pay-per-views? I know we've got Double or Nothing coming up ahead that we're probably going to have to do.
Well, we
Um,
definitely won't be reviewing WrestleMania Backlash.
Yes, we
Like,
will.
dude, like everyone
really?
everyone knows that it's the backlash to WrestleMania. Like that's what the word backlash represents because it's the pay-per-view that comes directly
Dude.
after WrestleMania.
No,
It
It's-
doesn't need to be like, and they keep on saying at WWE WrestleMania Backlash, I'm going to do like, it's just fucking
Yeah.
stupid. Not everything needs to be a registered trademark, cunt.
well, look, I mean, we may
It's like
not...
Hell in a Cell. It's like Money in the Bank. They have to be way over the top with the obvious.
Yeah.
Just,
No,
Just-
guys. I mean, we probably won't review Backlash. You're probably right on that one. But you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do a pay-per-view simulation. Yeah.
No.
WrestleMania Backlash, the
No.
pay-per-view simulation. It's gonna happen.
No, I can't
No,
stand these.
I
No, I
can't- I'm
can't
gonna-
stand these simulations,
You
man.
see,
They
it's-
always go on
No,
forever.
Instant Classic is
That is-
pumped. Absolutely, guys. It's not gonna
Dude.
be. Let's take a look at the Backlash card while we're on this topic.
If you're going to do
Listen,
24/7 this time, can you at least make it feel with
And
cunts are going to
then-
pop
Nah,
past?
No.
all right, I'll tell you this. I'll accept a WrestleMania Backlash simulation if we can do it in Fire Pro.
No, not gonna
Yes,
happen. Not gonna happen.
yes.
No.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Yep,
No,
no,
no.
you've got to do it in Fire Pro.
No, it's
That's
not
how
because
we'll
that's not
accept
how
it.
it works. It's a WWE
I'd,
game.
I'd,
you morons.
I'd be way more interested in it if it was through Fire Pro.
No, sorry, it's a WWE pay-per-view. It has to happen on a WWE game. It's called.
Well, do it on Attitude then.
That's a stupid.
Oh, shit.
Nah, man.
Imagine we did it on Attitude. That'd be fucking horrible.
You gotta see. You got the chat is much happier with the sim announcement. But guys, currently the only 3 matches are Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre versus Braun Strowman, Bianca Belair versus Bailey,
Already seen it.
It gets worse.
and Rhea
Ugh.
Ripley versus Asuka versus Charlotte.
I don't care.
I'm sick of seeing the same 3 women face
Oh,
off
it's great.
every
Well, look,
week.
hey, this is not a conversation for us now.
Well, I'm talking. You got
Well,
me.
and guess what? I'm closing the
Shut up,
conversation down because this has been the 4 Horsemen, and it's time we wrap this shit. Oh, I've got a bent finger there. We're gonna wrap
Yeah,
this shit up.
There we go.
Should I
Other
show the-
hand, you dumbass.
Well, I can't do the other
There you
hand
go.
because they've got a
There you
bent
go.
fucking finger.
No, it's cool. It's good. It's good.
Look at it. It's disgusting. Look at this shit.
Just look. I can do it. Look.
Sorry, and local boys just showed up. Hold on a second.
Wow, now, wow, now. Wow, now.
There's the theme song going now.
Wow,
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll see you down the road.
wow.
Yeah. No,
We
we
will
will.
see you down the road.
We'll actually see you on down
We
the
will
road.
see you down the road. Thanks
All the
very
way
much.
over there. We will see you down there.
Thank you so
bitch.
much, guys.
We're
Yeah,
gonna be
big
seeing you
God
down
damn.
that road, bitch.
Down the road.
See you
We'll
down
see you
there.
down the road. Thank you
We're
very
seeing
much.
you
Long
down
life
there,
will
guys.
see you down the road.
See you
Thank
down the road.
you.
Thanks, guys. Bye bye.
Live long and prosper.
Bang.
See you down the road.
Live long and prosper, guys.
Bang.
See you down the road.
Brap, brap, brap. See you down the road. Bye, bye, guys.
Good night. Good night.
And we're off the
Bye.
air.
See you guys. Bye.
I got in last. Good night.
Take care. Bye.
Good night,
No,
guys.
we're
Fuck
off.
you.
We're off the air.
Good night, guys. We'll see you down the road.
How
Thank
much
you.
does local boy fucking suck, dudes? Am I right? Fuck.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Are we off the air? Are we? Yeah, man. Local
he
boy.
fucking sucks,
Man, I wish he
man.
wasn't local because
Fuck,
he is. I feel
dude.
sick to my stomach that he's local.
Dude,
Yeah, no,
I
I
just
hate him.
wish that he,
I
you
feel
know, the
sick
way
to my
that he,
stomach that he's local,
you
bro.
know, it's like, are you local BOI? What's a BOI? Is that some kind of robot?
Well, no, that
Like,
says
it's-
boy.
Boy.
But listen,
Ah,
listen,
well,
I would
then
rather
why
he.
not write that then?
I
Oh
would
my
rather
god,
I'd
you
rather-
make me sick too, DJ.
I'd rather he be international boy because that way he'd be as far away from me as possible. That kind of deal.
Whoa,
Absolutely.
hey, look, that's actually offensive, mate. I actually find that quite offensive.
No, you're right.
No,
Absolutely
I
right.
know, Luke, you've been cancelled.
We'll see you down the road. We'll see you down the road,
See you down
guys.
the road, guys.
See you later,
guys.
guys.
See you later.
We'll
See
see
you
you down the
later.
road.
Bye.
We'll see you down the
Bye.
road, guys. Yeah,
Hi.
absolutely.
later.
Hi.
I said I'll
See you.
fucking see you later.
See you.
See you down the
down
road.
the-
Oh, later.
We'll see you down the
Can we
road.
just-
Down the fucking road, I'll see you.
I will
Down the road.
fucking see you
Fucking with
later.
I will see you down the road. Oh, you the fuck with me? Oh, you think you're not bad, huh? You're a fucking quiet boy compared to me. A quiet boy.
Fucking quiet boy.
I'm going to sit here and drink my water. I thought it was ended.
Is it over?
Can we
See you down
just,
the road.
is it, yeah, can we
See you
just
down the road.